nothing going on.
We're live. We're live
We're live where?
on my channel. So me neither.
Oh wow, okay, for live streaming. We just looked into Elaine Saconi. Talk about the special alliance with the US and with Israel and the horrible situation we're seeing with dead bodies, brutalized babies being returned by Hamas. This is a terrible, what we call Shonda, to not only the Jewish people, but the entire world. Roger. And now we're back to Roger. Actually, we're live streaming. Who's coming up next?
You? I don't know who's coming up next.
We're expecting President Trump. He's on the schedule for 2:30 p.m. We'll see if he's actually later, if he's actually going to be here. Back to you, Roger.
I'll just let the live. It just feed so you can just see from the media right. So
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome award-winning international singer, Mary Milben.
Yeah, let her come.
you guys can swap out. That's where we're swapping out.
How beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves, how great.
We're live.
God shed His grace on thee, crown thy foot with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
I need to.
God bless America. You all know this? Man, stand beside her.
You know,
With the light from above, from the mountains, His grace on thee. We're coming to you live at Cpac 2025. I'm Miss God Bless America, and we are just about ready to welcome the president of the year.
And Cpac Chairman Matt Schlapp.
Bachelor. Sadie's.
Somebody's clapping. That's good. I would know.
There you go.
All right. This one's from the heart. Men and women of Cpac and freedom lovers from around the world who are tuning in to this, what the national news media is calling the conservative United Nations. So how appropriate to have our next ambassador to the United Nations here with us today. 10 years ago, I had this amazing opportunity to go to Trump Tower and meet with someone who was a hero of mine, Donald Trump, in his big, beautiful office at the top of that big, beautiful tower. He did something unusual. He asked a lot of questions. He can't run for president. He's too inquisitive intellectually. And after that, I remember being on MSNBC and being asked why Donald Trump would run with all of the slurs that then was put forward for me on television. And I remember my brain thinking, this is the moment. You're either going to start off by criticizing him, or you're going to defend him. And this wonderful path started of standing up for this outsider and telling establishment Republicans and establishment conservatives that the old way was broken and it wasn't working. And the men and women of Cpac and the students of Cpac welcomed Donald Trump. We've welcomed him 15 times to this stage, more than any other person. We've stood on this stage and had the audacity to say that globalism would die. And lo and behold, I think he just did.
Yeah,
And when Donald Trump decided to run for president again, we never listened to the sirens songs. People told us it was time to listen to someone new or take a different path. We knew in our hearts, we knew in our souls that there was only one man ordained to do this most impossible of jobs. And that was verified by the tragedy that occurred in Pennsylvania. When Donald Trump got off the ground, stood up, showed us his measure of courage, and told the world that he would fight. For mercy and honor, for mercy and me, this is a great honor. We've been doing this for like literally half our marriage. It's been the greatest professional and personal privilege of our lives to be a part of the resurgence of America and the defense of freedom. This year, we're so proud to say that because of all of your hard work, America is back on track. And at Cpac 2025, it is our honor to present to you your president and freedom speaker. Yes.
But
To the hills in Tennessee, across the plains, don't see the side of sea. Detroit down to Houston, to this ride in the American car, and it's like we're staying safe. We can American, but it's not like dream. It's the life, it's you and the number. But there will be no doubt that God has Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Another very special hello to Cpac. It's been a long time. We've loved being back. It's hotter than ever. This place is packed. You gotta see outside. I don't know what's happening. It's really good what's happening. And all these here from Argentina and their friends here. Great job. Welcome back to the nation's capital, where our movement is thriving, fighting, winning, and dominating Washington like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. We used to have little smaller crowds here, a little bigger. The fraudsters, liars, cheaters, globalists, and deep state bureaucrats are being sent back. The illegal alien criminals are being sent home. We're draining the swamp and we're restoring government by the people for the people. For years, Washington warmongers and corrupt special interests who drained our wealth, attacked our liberties, obliterated our borders, and sucked our country dry, not any longer. But on November 5th, we stood up to all the corrupt forces that were destroying America. We took away their power. We took away their confidence. They lost their confidence, you know, they lost their confidence. So it's so nice to watch. And we took back our country. And we must be doing something right because we've got the highest poll numbers that I've ever had and that any Republican president has ever had. And our approval rating is now the highest ever across all demographics. Rasmussen just came out at 56%. Insider Advantage 56, RMG Research 57%. And we have many polls in the mid-60s, one at 71%. We like that 71. And according to YouGov, big deal,
no transitions. No moment when you go see what happens. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. Let her do that fight. Let them all do that fight. Because I think that's about a 90-10 issue, and I can't figure out who the 10% are. Nobody can. So today I want to say thank you to all of the incredible patriots of Cpac and all of the incredible patriots in our country. 77 million, and it's actually much more than that because despite that, they cheated right now. It was just too big to win. It was too big to win.
Nobody made it. All you see is that flick on the screen.
Remember you said, oh, I said, look, we're leading in the polls by a lot. Don't believe in the polls, just go and vote together. We gotta make it too big to rig. And they tried. But it was too big to rig. One of the great statements.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted voted. We fought through hell together. But in the end, we achieved the great liberation of America. We're liberating our country right now. We're doing all these things that you're reading about. We're liberating our country. I first spoke to this gathering 14 years ago. And I won your straw poll. I didn't know anything about a straw poll. They took this big straw poll and I won by like 27 points. And I figured, you know, I did. Became president. He's like, right? Who would think? Who would think? But he became president too. He's a MAGA guy too. Make Argentina great again, right? Make Argentina great again. I kept hearing about this man. I kept hearing about this man in beautiful Argentina, and it is beautiful, but why did it have inflation? Inflation made it less beautiful. I hear you're doing fantastic. So we're very proud of you, actually. And thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you. But now it's my honor to address you for the first time as your 47th president. Yeah. I want to begin by thanking Matt and Mercedes Schlapp for the incredible job they do and everyone they put together. They put together an amazing team, the American Conservative Union, for organizing this event. You have some big players here. Senator Ted Cruz, Eric Schmidt, Jim Banks of Indiana.
Yeah.
Hello, Eric. You can see Eric anywhere. He's right in the back of the room. He stands up. These are great people. Representatives Riley Moore, James Colbert, Harriet Haggard, Byron Donalds. Our great attorney general is going to be great. Pam Bondi. I don't know where she is. So many people. So many people. Secretary Doug Burgum. Secretary Chris Wright, who's going to get that energy out of the ground. Secretary Scott Turner. Our next ambassador to the United Nations, Elise Stefanik. Was getting a great speech, by the way. A very good friend of mine is this guy central casting now. Tom Holman. Is he central? How could I love a guy like that? But I do. He's doing a great job. Thank you, Tom, very much. Thank you. Arkansas Governor Sarah Sanders. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. And Pennsylvania Attorney General Dave Sunday. We're also honored to be joined by President Duda of Poland, who's a fantastic, great friend of mine. And we got 84% of the Polish people that voted for us, so you must be doing something right, huh? Hanging out with Trump. And again, President Milei of Argentina, thank you. And the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico. Nice to see you. The leader of the UK Reform Party, who, by the way, did really well in that last election. I've been his friend for a long time, and I wasn't sure, am I supposed to be his friend or not? But it never mattered to me if he did well or not. I always liked him, but it's easier to like him when he got the kind of votes he got. He took it by storm, and they say he's going to do even better this time. Nigel Farage. Thank you, Thank you. What a great guy. The leader of Spain's Vox Party, Santiago Obiscal. Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much. I thought that was you. Thank you very much. Great job you're doing. And a friend of mine, Eduardo Bolsonaro of Brazil. Chamber of Deputies. Thank you. Thank you. Say hello to your brother. Thank you very much. Great family. Great gentleman and great family. And our great First Lady, Melania, is watching us right now on television. So give her a thank you. Oh, she's gonna be happy. That's so nice. We love our First Lady, everybody does. With the help of so many incredible supporters here today, we're going to forge a new and lasting political majority that will drive American politics for generations to come. I think we're gonna do fantastically well in the
Are
midterm.
those two with you?
You know, in theory, the one that wins the presidency does not do well in the midterms, but I think this is gonna be a change. We're at a level. I don't think we've been at this level maybe ever as the Republican Party. We're a bigger, better, stronger party than ever. More people in our party than ever before. But the people have given us a resounding mandate for dramatic change in Washington, and we're going to deliver it. We're going to use it, and we're going to make America great again by using it. So it's going to be something. But think of it, at the presidential level, we won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We swept all 7 swing states: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, all by great margins. We won 85% of all of the counties in America. That means that map was red. Did you ever see the map? Did you see the certified map? Where is it? I want us to get a certified map. It's all red. You can hardly find the blue. Think of this. They won 525 counties, and we won 2,600 counties. It's the biggest margin ever recorded. And incredibly, for the first time ever, all 50 states shifted toward the Republican Party. It's never happened. We won the largest number of African American votes in Republican history by far. We won the largest number of Hispanic American votes in any Republican history. We love you. Their energy, their brilliance of Hispanic. We're all of the cities and towns along the Texas border, whereas before I ran, we never used to win any. I got a call from our great governor of Texas who said, President, you just won every single town along the Texas border to Mexico. I said, oh, is that good? He said, it hasn't happened since Reconstruction. I said, define Reconstruction for me. He said, that means essentially the Civil War. That's a long time. And that was when I first heard about it, actually. Our party has become the proud voice of hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And I think one of the main reasons, not that we're conservative or not that we're anything else, We are the party of common sense. It's about common sense. So it's all about common sense. Over the past month, we've confirmed an all-star team of warriors, patriots, visionaries, and put the America First agenda into action. I see Doug Burgum sitting right over there. I tell you, he was so good. I looked at him, I said, I gotta have him here. I gotta have him. He's, you know, he was a great governor. He's involved with a little thing called energy. He's got the Department of Interior. And Chris Wright has the Department of Energy. So Chris has no energy and Doug has all of the energy. Chris has more interior, but he doesn't have, so I merged them. So now you have an energy guy and you have the guy with all the energy. And you're gonna drill, baby drill. All right. And Catherine, stand up. This wife is incredible. She is such an incredible woman. You got very lucky, Doug. It's good to be successful, isn't it? She's an incredible woman. He's an incredible guy. In addition to the great cabinet secretaries we have here today, we confirm Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and the Wilkinson. Thank you. To stop the weaponization of federal law enforcement, I know about that, I think better than any human being on earth. This week, we swore in a new director of the FBI, somebody that. Yeah, it's popular guy. We went through with the blessing of a lot of good people too, I'll tell you, it was great. To end the politicalization of our intelligence agencies, we confirmed Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Very respected, highly respected. And to make America healthy again, we confirm Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy. Big guy. We need him. You know, there's a number on autism as an example with children, autism. And you go back 15 years, it was from 10 to 20,000. You had like 1 in 10 to 20,000. Some say 10, some say 20, but it was in that vicinity. That's a big vicinity. Now it's 1 in 36 babies. Now what's this? 1 in 36. Think of it, was 1 in probably 20,000 babies. Now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong. Something's wrong, and Bobby is going to find it. Working with Dr. Ross, Bobby. Together, we've achieved more in 4 weeks than most administrations achieve in 4 years. We may have not at breakfast. I heard O'Reilly last night say Donald Trump for the first 4 weeks is the greatest president ever in the history of our country. That was Bill O'Reilly. He's all right. You know, he said second was George Washington. That's not. I beat George Washington. I love beating George Washington. Thank you, Bill. On our first day in office, we declared a national emergency at our southern border. After years of politicians using our military to defend foreign borders while leaving our country defenseless, helpless, we deployed a group of people, active duty troops, to defend our border and repel the invasion of our country. This was an invasion.
Yes.
You know, we had a great first term, a really great first term. And I called it an invasion, and we had great numbers, but now we have the best numbers we've ever had. We've never had numbers like this. We've done it all in 4 weeks. Think of that. That was Tom Holman, Christy Nolan, the whole group. On day one, I ended catch and release. I reinstated remain in Mexico, and I signed an order that will end birthright citizenship for the children of illegal aliens. Because it wasn't meant for these children. It wasn't meant for people that escaped or invaded, came into our country illegally. It was meant for the children of slaves. Because when it was done, many, many years ago, it was during a very tough period in this country's history. And that was meant for the children of slaves. I wish people would understand that so they could get this thing approved and we don't have millions and millions of people coming into our country and they shouldn't be here. This week, I also canceled temporary protected status for migrants from Haiti. They're pouring into I weren't elected president, there'd be nobody in Haiti anymore. They were pouring in and from other countries too, all over Africa, the Congo, all over South America. And they were coming in from prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums, jails, and gang members. And, you'd have to see gang members, drug lords, people that are drug addicted. They were sending them all into our ridiculous and very stupid Biden open border. Our borders are with Kamala. I haven't said that name in a while. No, I haven't said that name in a while. Kamala. I bet nobody knows the last time. Nobody ever knows this. Even during the campaign, you'd have to say Kamala. It's French, you know, different name. Kamala. Because the last name was Harris. I used to say Senator Harris. Nobody knew who the hell I was talking about. So I had to go Kamala. Think of it, I was beating Joe badly, really badly. And they changed him. I'm the only one that ever had to beat two people. You beat two people. He was doing bad. That's like the great Dana White. He has a fight, and one guy's doing really badly. So when they take him out, they put another guy in the fight. The same guy. I had that. Never happened before. A lot of things we do never happened before. Yeah, but we're the first in everything. So we beat two candidates. They said, "Who do you run against?" We're running against Biden, and we're running against Kamala Harris. But illegal border crossings now have plummeted by almost 100%. The border czar never told the border. Never told the great people of the border. They have unbelievable. I called them so much they couldn't take my calls. They hated me. But then they became to love me. You know what? Because the border people want to have great borders. But you have to call them on occasion. How are we doing today? Pete, how are we doing? You have to call. We called the right guys. I became friends. You know, the Border Patrol endorsed me. And these no idea. They weren't supposed to because you're not supposed to do that. I don't think you're allowed to do it. Actually, they did it anyway. They said this is crazy. But these are great people and ICE and our general law enforcement. And by the way, our great firemen and firewomen. They were great. They all endorse us. With the police, we got high 90s in terms of, and many of them were unionized. You know? We have a young lady who's right now going for the Department of Labor, and she tends to be a little bit on the slightly left of center. And everybody said, "Why did I do that?" I said, "You know why I did that? Because unions like her and labor likes her and a lot of people like her and she's very solid, very strong. She's going to do the right thing." But they all voted for us. They didn't vote for me, they voted for us. We got the Teamsters, we got the firefighters, we got the police, we got the auto workers with some great. We had tremendous support. So I think it's nice to give them a person at the center. Because that's what she's been very good at. But people say, "Why do you do that?" I said, "Because I want to do something nice for these people that voted for me." Oh, gee, what a great political move that was. Now they're all saying, "What a great political move." No, it's all common sense. Remember that. Sean O'Brien was fantastic. The whole group, they were great. Over the past few weeks, we've begun the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a very modern man, but he was very strong on that. He didn't like people running into our country and taking over our country. I'll tell you, I have 4 years. I don't know if you had this in the stand it. Don't get it. No, don't get it. I couldn't stay. Yeah. Watching these people come in from jails, mental institutions, and the worst criminals in the street, gang members being dropped off in buses and busted to our country. I couldn't stand it. So I said, I'm going to run for president again. How we not? You don't have that problem. We have the best morning we've ever had. And by the way, they can never find my world's favorite chart ever in history. I'll show you what it was when I left. And now it's even slightly better. Can you drop that chart, do you think? I don't know. I never tell them about this, but they used to drop it like magic. They can, they'll drop it. Who the hell knows? But it's my favorite chart. My favorite chart in history. We're liberating communities like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, that have been occupied by illegal alien criminals from all over the world. We're rescuing the Americans whose jobs have been stolen, whose wages have been robbed, and whose way of life has been absolutely destroyed. And under the Trump administration, our country will not be turned into a dumping ground. We're not going to do it. We're going to have a great country again. It's going to happen soon, a lot sooner than you think. And we're going to have so much money coming in from tariffs. Oh, you're going to say, your senators and your congressmen are going to say, please, sir, please. You're making us look so bad. We have so much money coming in. I didn't know this was going to happen. Please don't do this to us. We look very bad. But they're great. They're doing what the Republican senators they're sticking together. The Republican congressmen and women are sticking together. And every once in a while, you have one that wants to do action or something. I don't know what it is. It's so sad to see. I just hate to see it. I hate to see it, but they're sticking together. One thing about the Democrats, they have horrible policy, the worst policy in history. But they stick together. We have great policy, but sometimes they don't stick, but they've been sticking for us. They've been sticking. And I think the speaker and the leader have done a fantastic job. And Stu and Johnson, and I think that you guys really working hard and doing. They're really doing a good job. But we have a lot to stick with. We have a lot to stick together for because what we've done has never been done before. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. And nobody's ever seen 4 weeks like we've had, especially the 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks. You know, that's like if you golf, when you sink that first 4-footer on the first hole, gives you confidence in the next hole, you sink another one. Now you go into that third hole, you can't, and by the time you get to the fifth hole, you feel you can't miss, right? Like a baseball player who gets up and he hits the first one, and then the second at bat, he hits that one. And, you know, we have great confidence, and they've lost their confidence, as I said. They really lost their confidence. I watched them. They're really screwed up. I watched this MSNBC, which is a threat to democracy. They're stuttering. They're all screwed up. They're all mentally screwed up. They don't know. Their ratings have gone down. I don't even talk about CNN. CNN's sort of like, I don't know, they're pathetic, actually. But MSNBC was being, the ratings are absolutely down. This Rachel Maddow, what does she have? She's got nothing. She took a sabbatical where she worked 1 day a week and paid her a lot of money. She gets no ratings. I should go against her in the ratings because I'll tell you, she gets no ratings. All she does is to talk about Trump. All different subjects, Trump this, Trump that. But these people are really, I mean, they lie. They shouldn't be allowed to lie every night. They are really a vehicle of the Democrat Party. They should be paid Yes. So quick, stand up. Wow. Yeah, everybody. Thank you very much. How am I doing on China? Am I doing good? Am I doing good on China? Tell you one thing, nobody's ever done like I've done on China. Nobody ever let people know what was happening with respect to China. And I happen to like President Xi. I have tremendous respect for the people of China. I love the people of China. But we've been treated very unfairly by China and many other countries. And we're not being unfairly treated anymore. We had that down to a science in the first term, and then they lost it. You know, we lost over $1 trillion to China this last year under Biden. Crooked Joe Biden. What do we like better? Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Ready? Ready? Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Ready? Crooked Joe. Sleepy Joe. Gotta stay with him. He had one ability that I didn't have. He could do something that I couldn't do. I don't say that because he was a horrible golfer. Remember, he challenged me during the debate to a golf. You're not the 36 inning. He said he's a 6, and then he said, "Well, I'm 8." Remember? I said that was quick. Picked up 2 strokes. Said no, but he's not a 36 handicap, but he had one ability that was amazing. He could go with cameras on him, television, fake news on him, probably because he knows he wouldn't cover it badly, so they covered him as well as you can cover him. How the hell did they cover him? But he had this incredible ability. He could barely walk in the sand. Somebody thought he looked great in the bathing suit. And he walked in the sand pulling a thing that weighed about 6 ounces. You know, those aluminum, see, aluminum's very good. You can, a child, it's meant for children and very old people to live. So he would put it down and then put it down and he'd fall into it and he'd immediately fall asleep in front of the media. I could never do that. That's the only thing I could never do. Now, he was a Joe, but he was crooked as hell. You know, he was a sleepy, crooked guy. Terrible, man. He was the worst president in the history of our country. Jimmy Carter passed away recently, and he passed away a happy man. He was a happy man when he passed away. Because he said that it's not even close. Joe was the worst, and believe me, I have to clean up the mess. I'm cleaning up the mess, and it is a mess. And every single thing he touched turned to shit. It's true. I said, now Franklin Graham's I grabbed him. You know, that Franklin wrote me a letter, said, I love your speeches. I love them. I love them so much. But it'd be better if you would never use foul language. And I told him, I said, Franklin, you know, Franklin Graham's a great guy, by the way, does a great job. The second thing, but I said to Franklin, you know, sometimes you need it for emphasis. And he said, no, it'd be even better if you wouldn't use any bad language. That's not really a terrible word, but that's a much more appropriate word and better. What word would I use to describe it? What word can I use? So, and we have to be truthful too. So, you know, all countries are now taking their illegal aliens back, even those that stated strongly, we will never take them back. Don't ever send them to us. But they said that during the Biden administration. They never said it during my administration. Venezuela's taking them back. The role of Colombia's taking them back. Remember, Colombia said, we will take them back, he said. And within about 13 minutes, I think, we would love to take them back. In fact, we will send our planes to pick them up. Remember? And they said, what happened? What happened? And you see these Venezuelan planes loaded up with some real nice people. You wouldn't have wanted to be the pilot, but they know we're not playing games. And just this week, I officially designated bloodthirsty cartels and murderous gangs as foreign terrorist organizations. So, the full might and power of the federal government now being dedicated to eradicating MS-13 trend Iraqwa. That's the Venezuelan prison gangs. These are very nice fellows. The only thing good about them is they make our criminals look like nice people. Remember when they used to say, people that come in from foreign countries are nice people. These are wonderful people. These are good people. They're not murderers. They're not terrible. These people make us look like babies. You know the Hells Angels? They're among the nicest people on earth when you compare to these thugs. And the Hells Angels actually love our country, if you can believe that. They actually do.
Oh, that's gonna.
But their members and their leaders in the United States will be hunted down. I'm talking about MS-13. They're hunting them down. We removed tens of thousands MS-13 trend Iraq, rooted out, arrested, and expelled from our soil like the savage monsters that they are. We don't have anybody coming up from Argentina. Nobody's coming up from Argentina to facilitate the mass removal of criminal aliens. I also issued an executive order to make available the full capacity of detention. We're going to use Guantanamo Bay. We have a detention facility. It's actually massive. Holds thousands of prisoners. We never used them. For 4 long years, you had a president who put illegal aliens up in penthouse suites and beautiful hotels on Park Avenue, on Madison Avenue, on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Now you have a president who is stamping their ticket to Gitmo on a one-way trip back into the places from which they came. Wonderful. Big difference. My administration is also moving swiftly to save the U.S. economy from the train wreck of inflation and worse that Joe Biden created. I withdrew from the one-sided Paris climate accord. It was a disaster. I was a disaster. I terminated the Green New Scam. One of the greatest hoaxes ever played on this country is the Green New Scam. We spent trillions of dollars on this nonsense, and just a total hoax. It really set back our country, I want to tell you, monetarily and every other way. And I canceled Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate. And if you want an electric car, get an electric car. If you want a gasoline powered car, if you want to have a hybrid, you get it. The only thing you can't do is a hydrogen powered car. You know what? They said it really works great, but when it doesn't work, you never find the body. That's a that's a bad sign. You know, when it doesn't work, they found the body on a tree about 250 yards up. It's seriously bad. So we'll leave hydrogen out of it for a little while, and maybe permanent. I'd say permanent. To crush inflation by slashing spending, I imposed an immediate federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, and a foreign aid freeze. We're given to countries that hate. We're giving billions and billions of dollars to countries that hate us. And I signed an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency, which is now waging war on government waste, fraud, and abuse. And Elon is doing a great job. He's doing a great job. We love Elon, nobody expect that. He's a character. With his son X, we love X. He's the only one can get away. His son's really named X. Well, he's the only one can get away with naming his son X. We haven't did it this age. You're crazy. But he's great. He's doing a great job. But he doesn't need this. He doesn't need it. But he wants to see. You know, it's a patriot. People say, well, what official position was he on? I said patriot. Oh, they didn't know. That was. Here are some of the flagrant scams that, as an example, they've spent money on and we've been able to recapture for a large dose of it. At least $520 million for a consultant to, look at it, $520 million, 520 million. You know, when I hire consultants and they just take advantage of it, it's a horrible thing to watch. And I give them $25,000. I feel I'm overpaying. These guys got $520 million. Environmental, social, governance, and investments in Africa. $25 million to promote biodiversity conservation and socially responsible behavior in Colombia. This is Colombia, South America, not Columbia University. Of course, that might be worse based on their actions. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows where, who are they, where do they come from? Just sedentary migrants. Nobody even knows what a sedentary migrant is.
But I was just gonna say,
They would say they wouldn't be a migrant, right? Well, they wouldn't move. They stay in the same place. Right now, $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $10 million for Mozambique medical male circumcisions. Why are we going to Mozambique to do circumcisions? That's a lot. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. Is a beauty. $486 million to a consortium of elections and political process strengthening ideas, of which $22 million goes to inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova. $29 million goes to strengthen the political landscape and help them out so that they can vote for a radical left communist in Bangladesh. You had to see who they supported. You wouldn't believe, yeah, you would believe. Nobody in this room would be in that group. $20 million for fiscal federalism and $19 million for biodiversity in Nepal. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. $18 million for helping India with its elections. Why the hell? Why don't we just go to all paper ballots? Let them help us with our elections. Voter ID. We're giving money to India for elections. They don't need money. They take advantage of us pretty good. One of the highest tariff nations in the world. We try and sell something. They have a 200% tariff. And then we're giving them a lot of money to help them with their election. $32 million for the Prague Civil Society Center. $14 million for social cohesion in Liberia. $9.7 million to developing cohort Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. Think of that. Millions of dollars for sex change operations in Guatemala. $20 million for Sesame Street in Iraq. They put a little play on the street. $20 million. You could do it on Broadway and have $19 million left over. What's a scam? They get kickbacks and all sorts of things. It's a scam. Whoever heard of it? Think of it, $20 million Sesame Street play. We're also uncovering outrageous incompetence and fraud in the Social Security. We have, look, let's assume that people, generally speaking, in our case, and everybody in this room, we're going to all live way over 100, but this is a little ridiculous because not too many people are going over 100. Everybody, hopefully, in this room will. But there are in the Social Security ranks and files. And what we're doing now is finding out, do they get paid? Do they get paid? In other words, is somebody taking all of this money? So they have over 100 to 109, 4.7 million Social Security numbers. Think of them from people whose age is over 100. 3.6 million people whose age is over 110 years. 3.47 million people who are over 120 years of age. 3.9 million people whose age was from 130 to 139 years of age. 3.5 million, whose age goes from 140 to 149 years old. 1.3, see, it's coming down now slowly. No, it's all a scam. The whole thing is a scam. 1.3 million people, 1.3 who are over 150 years of age. And over 130,000 people are listed on our social security rolls as over 160 years of age. Now the final is 1,039. So now we're down into reasonable numbers. 1,039 people are listed between the ages of 220 years old to 229. And we have one person who's listed at 241 years of age. We have one person listed at 360 years of age, an all-time record, and our country's 250 years. That person substantially older than us. Under our administration, there will be no tolerance for Social Security fraud. We will not allow anyone to cheat our seniors, and those who will do that will be prosecuted by Pam, Bondi, and others. We're also going to Fort Knox. I'm going to go with Elon.
Yeah.
Would anybody like to take this? Because we want to see if the gold is still there. We want to see. Wouldn't it be terrible if we open up this Fort Knox? It's just solid granite that's 5 feet thick. The front door, you need 6 musclemen to open it up. I don't even think they have windows. Wouldn't that be terrible if we opened it up and there was no gold there? So we're gonna open those doors, we're gonna take a look, and if there's 27 tons of gold, we'll be very happy. I don't know how the hell we're gonna measure it, but that's okay. We want to see lots of nice, beautiful, shiny gold in Fort Knox. Don't be totally surprised. We open the door, we'll say, there's nothing here, they stole this too. Now, we have a very corrupt group of people in this country, and we're finding them out. We're removing all of the unnecessary, incompetent, and corrupt bureaucrats from the federal workforce. That's what it is. And under the buyout, we offer federal employees more than 75,000 federal bureaucrats. Think of that. Have voluntarily agreed to surrender their taxpayer-funded jobs. We want to make government smaller, more efficient. We want to keep the best people, and we're not going to keep the worst people. And you know, we're doing another thing. If they don't report for work, we're firing them. Right? Right? Look at that. You don't report to work. You know, that's another scam. You know, who the hell, if I'm staying, I'm gonna, let's see, my golf handicap would get down to. You'd be shocked if I don't get a real number. But I would be so good that I'd try and get on tour. I would be so good. I'd call up and say, listen, I'm really working here. Either that, or in many cases, they have second jobs while they're getting paid by us. So one of the reasons they're leaving is because they don't want to have to show that. And we're demanding to see that information. How many jobs have you had? Who paid you when you were working for the government? And we are demanding that people, if they work for the government, have to show up and sit in an office and do their job, right? And we've also effectively ended the left-wing scam known as USAID, the agency's name. Has been removed from its former building, and that space will now house agents from Customs and Border Patrol. And at the ultra-left CFPB is never, which was terrible. So many people have been hurt by that. I used to get calls from lending officers, from owners of small banks, and they were almost crying. What they did to those people, they destroyed them, put them out of business. It was established by Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. Remember the Pocahontas scam? I'm an Indian, therefore I'm entitled to be a senator. I'm an Indian. She said, could we see proof of that, please? She said, well, the only proof I have is my mother said I have high cheekbones. Oh, that's no good, right? Remember she went out, I really spooked her, I tell you. Remember she went out, she couldn't take it anymore, she's going to Pocahontas, Pocahontas. Everyone knew she was not an Indian. I had more Indian blood than her, and I have no Indian blood. I'd be younger too, but I don't have anybody that had more than her. You remember she went out, she had a blood test. And it came back and she was so happy. Because it said 1024th. That means everybody in this room had more than her. But because there was even the skit, in other words, 1 million years ago, something could happen. And she was so happy that she released it and she got killed. That was the end of her presidential career. She does not like me very much. She's a very angry person. You notice the way she is? She's always screaming. She's crazy. These people are crazy. The radical left is meaner. I don't know what it is. They're meaner than us. We're like normal people. We're smart. We get our word, but we don't go crazy. Of course, they'll take my little rant from 15 minutes ago. The fake news. He lost control of the stage. He lost control. And they'll have me screaming. Having to do with Franklin, poor Franklin. He lost control of the stage. Now, these people, man, they are really sick too. I don't get it. You think they want to love our country? They have no ratings anymore. Nobody listens to them. Nobody believes the fake New York Times. Washington Post is doing no business. They're losing all their business. Nobody believes it. But we've escorted the radical left bureaucrats out of the building and locked the doors behind them. We've gotten rid of thousands. I withdrew the United States from the corrupt World Health Organization. I withdrew from the anti-Semitic UN Human Rights Council. The council is horrible. I withdrew from the terror-supporting UN relief and works agency. The UN has such great potential, but not the way it's run now. It's terrible the way it's run now. We stopped all taxpayer money to these corrupt institutions. And by the way, just so who the hell knows, we got to talk about something very important. The war between Russia and Ukraine. People are being killed, mostly young men, mostly Russian and Ukrainian men, at levels you've never seen before. Thousands of people a week. I've spoken to President Putin, and I think that thing is going to end. It's got to end. It's a horrible, horrible thing. I'm dealing with President Zelensky. I'm dealing with President Putin. I'm trying to get the money back that or secured because Europe has given $100 billion. The United States has given $350 billion because we had a stupid, incompetent president and administration. 350. But here's worse. Europe gave it in the form of a loan. They get their money back. We gave it in the form of nothing. So I want them to give us something for all of the money that we put up. And I'm going to try and get the war settled. I'm going to try and get all that debt. So we're asking for rare earth, oil, anything we can get. But we feel so stupid. Here's Europe. And it affects Europe. It doesn't really affect us, except we don't like to see two things. Number one, how Biden got us into this thing in the first place. Terrible. But why is it that he didn't ask for equalization? Europe should put up more money than us. But even if you said the same thing, how come we went so far up front? And he didn't know that Europe gets his money back. They did it in the form of a loan. We don't get our money back. We get nothing. So we're getting our money back. We're going to get our money back. And it's not fair. It's just not fair. And we will see, but I think we're pretty close to a deal, and we better be close to a deal. Because that has been a horrible situation. It would have never happened if I was president. And by the way, October 7th, Israel would have never happened if I was president. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah. They had no money to give. Everybody knows that. Jewish people in the audience know that Iran was broke. They were not giving money around. And when I got out, they took all the sanctions off Biden. And Iran became rich very quickly. With oil, you can become rich very, very quickly. And the rest is history. What a horrible thing. Even though the hostages are coming back, I saw this morning what we got 6 more back. Biden got none back, by the way, just so you know, not 0. He would have never gotten any of them back. But they're coming back in pretty bad shape. It's a horrible thing, and many are dead. Many are dead. So we'll see how that all ends up, but it's a horrible thing. But I just want you to know we're working on that. That's a very big part of it. And I don't like talking about it. Because we're in the negotiations. It's a very sad. It's a very sad. Would have never happened. There was no way Russia was never going to go in, and they went in because of a lot of reasons. And so many people are dead. Far more people are dead than you're reading about. You know, when they blow up all these cities, all those cities they look like demolition sites. Every single building is down. All of those beautiful golden towers that are 1,000 years old, they're lying on the ground in smithereens, blown to smithereens. There's nothing left of them. They're just lying on the ground, never to be rebuilt again, not possible to rebuild them again. And all of that heritage is gone. People have done a really horrible job. That would have never, if I were president, 0 chance that a shot would even have been fired. Wouldn't have happened. So sad. We've heard to turbocharge our economy. We've launched the most aggressive deregulation program in any nation's history. And we're also going to be seeking the largest tax cuts in American history again. We brought them down, as you know, from close to 40% down to 21%. Now we're bringing them down to 15% if you make your product in the United States of America. We're defending the American worker like never before. And that's why the auto workers and the union workers and the Teamsters and so many others, they supported us, the firemen, the police, so many others, whether they were union or non-union, they all supported us. They supported, it was full workers, and they supported us at levels that nobody's ever seen before. Weeks ago, I imposed a 10% tariff on all goods coming from China because of the fact that they're sending fentanyl into our country through Mexico. Not happening in Mexico, or I'm not happening in Canada either. I imposed 25% tariffs on all foreign steel and aluminum, and I will soon impose reciprocal tariffs on any country that charges us. And by the way, reciprocal means they charge us, we charge them same thing. So nobody can be upset, right? So we have countries charging us 200%, and we charge them nothing. They charge us, we charge them. Our country's going to become rich again, very rich. I always say it's my favorite word in the dictionary. The word tariff is my favorite word in the dictionary. You know, we were richest, the richest relatively from, think of this, from 1870 to 1913. That was our richest because we collected tariffs from foreign countries that came in and took our jobs and took our money, took our everything. But they charged tariffs, and we had so much money, they set up the 1887. Think of that, a long time ago, 1887 Tariff Commission. It was a commission of very important people to determine where we should spend all of the tremendous vast wealth that we had. We had so much wealth. Wouldn't it be nice today? Because now we give it away to transgender, this transgender. Everybody gets a transgender operation. It's just wonderful. We give it away like to crazy things. But in those days, it was different. It was a different world. It was a different country. But we were very rich because of tariffs. And I get myself in trouble because I say that tariff is my favorite word. And the fake news went crazy. What about God? What about wife and family? What about love? I said, okay, tariff is now my 4th favorite word. I got myself into a lot of trouble with that. You can't believe it. I said, tariff is my favorite word in the dictionary, and I got killed by the fake news. So I say now, it doesn't sound good. Tariff is my 4th favorite. Tariff is my 4th favorite word. It's so terrible, but this way I'm free. I write free. I don't get clobbered by the fake news. But tariffs are also a powerful tool of diplomacy, and all around the world are moving quickly to bring back peace through strength. We have the greatest, I rebuilt our entire military in the first term. We left a lot of it, although a lot of it, but very small relatively. in Afghanistan. The Taliban has it. You know, they have their parade every year where they take our military vehicles and run them up some little street. And like it's their form of a military parade, and it makes me angry when I see it. Okay. When I see that, I get angry. You know, we give them, I don't think anyone knows this. We give Afghanistan about $2 or $2.5 billion a year, you know? Or aid. Aid. We need aid ourselves. And I'm gonna go back and told them yesterday, I wanna look at it, if we're gonna give them money, it's okay. But I want them to give us back our military. I was telling them. Doug, would you take that, please? Write something down. I want them to give back. If we're gonna give them that kind of money, let them give back the military equipment. Which they have tanks, trucks, and guns and goggles. They have goggles. They have night goggles. Better than we have, brand new right out of the box. It's unbelievable. So I want to do that, and I want the, if we're gonna bet, I want to get that equipment back, okay? Doug can do it. He's a business guy. They had me sitting there saying, how the hell did this ever happen, right? Can you believe it? We give them billions of dollars and we gave them our military equipment? Just tremendous numbers of billions of dollars worth of billions and billions. We have a ceasefire in Gaza, and we're joined today by several survivors of the captivity under Hamas, including Noah Argamani and Ilana Retworski. Wow, look at that number. Look at that. What a beautiful group of people. Thank you very much. And you're sitting next to a great guy, Sebastian Gorka, who's also now an from day one, right, Sebastian? He's been a loyalist from day one. We love Sebastian. Thank you very much, Sebastian. Thank you, everybody. It's very nice. Beautiful. We're gonna make it work somehow, you know, do the best we can. Get started. Should have never happened. That's the sad part. Would have never happened. If I were president, that I should have been. If I were president, it would have never happened, but it did so. We're doing the best we can with it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Also with us are family members of some individuals who are still hostages. And we will not rest until all of the hostages have been returned back home. Some of them are coming home in very bad condition, and some of them are coming home only as bodies. They're dead. We have a lot of them coming home and they're dead. And these are largely young people. Young people don't die. Young people are young people. They don't die like this, but they're dead. And the parents come to me. They said, please, sir, could you get my son back? How old is he, sir? My son is dead. It's important, just as important as if that son were alive, to get the body back. So yes. Thank you. It's amazing, the parents, the parents are strong. I mean, look, strong, what a strong man. Strong is their life is ruined, it's ruined. I see the people, but they come up to me and it's so important to get the body back. They know. And some are not sure. They're 80% sure he's dead or she's dead. But they have that little glimmer of hope, and I say, let them have that hope, right? Let them have that hope. But getting the body back is just as important as getting the son back healthy or the daughter back healthy. It's amazing to see when I see the level of intensity and love and sorrow and tragedy. As I said in my inaugural address, it's my hope that my greatest legacy will be as a peacemaker, not a conqueror. Finding the Trump administration every day brings more good news for America. I've ended all of the so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. and private schools. And notified every single government DEI officer that their job has been deleted, they're gone, they're fired. You're fired, you're fired. I made the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. I banned men from competing in women's sports. I also proudly banned the use of. Yeah, thank you. We banned the use of puberty blockers, hormone injections. Another chemical and surgical stimulation of the youth. Can you imagine making a speech like this 10 years ago? People would say, what the hell is he talking about? This is a sickness that came along with critical race theory and all of that other things that we had to put up with. And it's all out now, critical race theory and transgender insanity. It's all gone from our schools and from our. And I believe it's gone. I think we've turned the heads of even the people that, if you can believe they're believers, I don't know if they were, but I believe that it's all gone. And I've directed the reinstatement of any service member who is expelled from the armed forces. They will be returned to their former rank and go back. I banned government censorship from your voices and brought back free speech in America. Yeah, we didn't have it. We do have it now, right? Well, this was a very vicious regime. You know, I was put under investigation more so than the late great Alphonse Capone. From my father would look down my mother, how the hell did this happen to my boy? This was, no, I was under investigation at a far greater level than Alphonse or anybody else, probably in the history of the country. These people are sick. They're sick. They're bad people. I ended Joe Biden's weaponization as soon as I got in. I said, I'm going to hit him with the same stuff. But I ended his whole weaponization of our government and removed his handpicked radical left Marxist prosecutors from the Department of Justice. They weaponized government. They weaponized government. I pardoned hundreds and hundreds of Biden's political prisoners, including Christians, pro-life representations, who were treated terribly for years. We even got rid of people like Pete Buttigieg, who did the worst job of anybody in the history of transportation. What a bunch of losers. I revoked the security clearances of Anthony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, John Brennan, James Stout, and every non-patriot who lied to cover up Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. We took away their security clearances. Not allowed to enter any government building. I also revoked Joe Biden's security clearances. And they'll no longer be allowed to access state secrets while selling themselves all around the world. Now, these are bad people. These are bad people. And I do that because this should never be allowed to happen again. What happened to me in this administration, what happened on J6, what happened on should never, ever be allowed to happen again. And on a friendlier note, I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. And we are restoring the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley in Alaska. And as you know, many years ago, Jimmy Carter gave away the Panama Canal. And Panama started the process of giving the Panama Canal, by the way, the most expensive development ever in the history of our country. Relatively, it would have been 1.5 trillion in today's dollars. 38,000 people died from our country building the Panama Canal. They died from mosquitoes and snakes. Think of it. They paid them 5 times their salary. They brought them to Panama and they had a 25% chance of dying. They dug under nets so the mosquitoes wouldn't get them. But we lost 38,000, mostly men, laborers, construction workers, because it was such a harsh way to live. It was very brutal. They died, 38,000. Again, it was the most expensive thing we ever built, and they gave it away for $1 to Panama. And last year it made $5 million. Also, that's one of the most successful projects ever built in terms of money, monetarily. And it's the 8th wonder of the world. It connects 2 oceans, with one being 16 feet higher than the other. Think of it, the Pacific and the Atlantic. Think of what that is. You're going through dikes, canals. Amazing what they did. It was really a wonder of the world. We gave it away for nothing. But we didn't give it to China. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama. We're going to take back the Panama Canal. In a matter of weeks, we have restored America's pride, America's confidence, and America's spirit. According to a brand new poll from Rasmussen, the number of Americans who believe we are on the right track now exceeds the number who think we're on the wrong track. This is the first time in 23 years. That's hard to believe. And we have one poll where we're at 81% right track, wrong track. I guess it depends on who, but that one poll, because Rasmussen has been a good poll, first time in over 20 years that we've had a positive number on that. That's great. That's great. November 5th, 2024 will go down as one of the most important days in the history of our country. I'm pointing for Michael Lee. That man suffered. That man suffered. The FBI thugs went up to him. They took away everything he had. Stuff. This is a great guy. They went after him. It was just this was a vicious weaponization of the government. But he's all up today. He stood up. He's all man. He stood up. He stood up strong. And nothing was going to phase him. And I want to thank you on behalf of everybody.
Hold on. Over here.
United States. Talked about taking back the talked about, you know, states reserve. It's about Navy, the call of America. And you can say, absolutely back to that. And I gotta tell you, but there was so stuff you look like I do. Say, this is the first one Saturday. So that she's elected as the 47th president of the United States. We talked about the wasteful study that the we also talked about for Social Security. If you come and look at how it are they still receiving Social Security checks. Talked about protecting girls' sports. You're not going to have biological men in our girls' sports. Thanks to President Trump. That's a privilege. I gotta tell you, this Cpac was fantastic. That's something that we do. PTSD, elected officials is two weeks I've seen in the past. And again, that has a lot to do with it. Folks leaving being out of session or trying to get things handled because the American people President. Oh, yeah. All that. So Roger, you're that. So you've been the dedicated camera guy this entire Cpac. Tell me about this.
I'm folding up my tripod.
He's an old team Justin. I think one of my highlights of this Cpac, in addition to pressing
Um, talk about moving to pain. Oh, you did? Okay. I can't.
So loud in this in the how they we're actually going to go out and we're going to start talking to folks and see if you their opinion what you thought of President Trump's speech this afternoon. This is Sandy Smith coming to you live from Citizen Media News, Cpac 2025. Oh, that was amazing. It was awesome. I mean, it was exhilarating. This is my first time seeing him live in person. So I was thinking, wow, he's amazing. Nebraska. Nebraska. So that's a big state. Cordelia. Nebraska. Hey, how are ya? Lovely. I think I was conversation possible. He said one particular car. I mean, he's such a comedian, you know, as well. You know, I just think what I love about him is that his hesitancy is obviously what he's. I think that's what it is. It's like the thing that gets and he's talking. He's just talking. He's you know. Because I really enjoy that all the time. No, we're cracking up. Yeah, I was on Cookie Joe personally. And he was the worst. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But I gotta say, I think yes, yes. My thing is what I'm hoping for us to find all those missing children. I want us to find them. All those unadopted. You have got to see tracking. You know, God knows what's happening. I know that's why I'm it's to me. Now it's actually a tough ride. My good friend. Yeah. So we are that. Yes, thank you.
Sandy, I got grab my bag.
Guys like to come? Hi, I'm with City Media News. Would your group like to come over and comment about how much you like President Trump's rally? Oh, we love it. Well, come on over. Big Trump and Lady Liberty. They're gonna take a picture and then they're gonna come over and talk.
This is a big world. But look at nothing. 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 Like a woman or a girl.
Hey, I'm City News. I'm Sandy Smith. How did you guys feel about President Trump's first rally he's elected, 47th president here at Cpac?
Had a great, loved everything.
And what is time for y'all? Texas. And you guys are dressed to the nines today. Did Anisa Costa, who's idea
Right here.
in your name?
Michael Reed, Texas.
Very good. And then, and you are Lady Liberty or Lady Trump?
Lady Liberty, Sonia Harper.
And in Texas, home?
From Texas.
And you are from G. Orange, Texas. Any like Louisiana.
Oh,
So you, the beautiful Gulf of America, they got it right. What's the name of the Gulf? Gulf of America. You guys traveled far to get here. So what was your favorite part of President Trump's speech?
I think it's so fun. He's always so funny.
So what nickname should he take a job? Sleepy.
Pretty good job.
Sleepy Cookie Girl. I think we need to get add creepy to that.
I think so. I like that.
Creepy's good. There we go. There we go. That's what do you guys think about President Trump uncovering the millions of Americans still security? It is heartbreaking, but you know what? Thank God for President Trump because he is exposing the fraud and corruption of the previous administration. Anything else you guys want to say? We're live right now.
God bless America. We are back. God bless America. We love you.
President Trump saved my life
Tell us
back in
about it.
2020.
Tell us about it.
I was Democrat for 35 years, and I was watching the fake news, and I was believing
what they were telling me to believe. And when Antifa was burning down the country, I saw President Trump take up for us because I have a small business in Texas. And when Kamala Harris was bailing the criminals out of jail just to go back and do the repeat offenses, I realized that the Democrat Party was not the party it used to be. And once I stopped watching fake news, started watching the right news, I realized I was being lied and deceived. And that's what it took me 2 days to realize I was being lied to. It changed my life.
Well, thank God that's a huge blessing that you were able to start seeing through the truth. Now, was 2024 the first year you voted for President Trump, or did you vote for him in 2020?
I wasn't even until a year ago.
So you,
I was not political.
so the first person you ever voted for is President Trump in 2024.
Yes.
How did that feel?
Oh, no. It's exciting.
Did any of y'all go to the inauguration?
Yeah.
Did you get to go into the arena? Oh my goodness. I'm so glad you guys got to us. Yeah, but I'm glad you got back to see that. You guys are true patriots. This is Trump Tribe of Texas. And if somebody wants to join the Trump Tribe, is there a way to contact Rick Paul?
And
Okay, so here, if you want to get involved, these folks are good patriots. If you want an official sparkly jacket like this, I'm sure they can hook you up. You know, Lady Liberty looks gorgeous, and I gotta tell you, we should actually make this Trump.
Let's see your shoes. Look at the shoes. The shoes.
Look at the shoes. Oh my gosh, and the bag. Look at that. One thing's for sure, us Trump supporters, we know how to dress it up and we know how to sparkle.
this is the golden era.
It is the golden era. Exactly, exactly. We're making sparkles great again. Guys, thank you so much. You guys enjoy, and I'm so glad you're gonna be. We can't wait to see you next year.
She wants to take your picture. Come this way, Sandy Smith.
Thank you guys.
Don't walk too fast. We're leaving the media center. Slamming doors, kicking butt. Hold on, hey, come over here. Come join our friend Ian Trottier.
Hi, Ian. How did you enjoy President Trump's?
Oh, I mean, I have not yet begun to fight, right, Sandra? And I've not yet begun to fight. That is, those are remarkable words by John Paul Jones that Trump just reiterated here. It's fantastic. That's exactly right. We have only begun, and yes, we have 2 years. We don't have the House to flip, but we've got quite a bit done. And you can mark my words that one of my targets, my main target, is John Brennan. So what I'd like to do with a former information source, an information source that I have of former FBI, is that John Brennan be tried and convicted of treason. So that is my goal. I have some information on him, not that I've researched, just that I've been presented with, and I'm certainly not only echoing that research. And I believe it's enough to get cash to open an investigation on John Brennan, and to Pam Bondi, that is, to press charges and indict John O'Brien, the former head of the CIA, with charges of financial crime, and which should lead to charges of treason. So I think with the list, with the American Gangster list, or whatever that's termed by Kash Patel, I think with that list that was presented yesterday, I think was it yesterday upon his swearing in, or 2 days ago, that list, those lists of names, those are bad actors that have made agreements with members of the deep state that are unconstitutional, that are meant to destroy the United States of America. Whether these people have realized their actions have been detrimental to this country or not, which maybe they haven't realized it or not, but we will help bring that forth in a courtroom is our goal, with appropriate lawyers and judges that are balanced in their heads and in their thinking and judicial contemplations, that these people will be brought to justice. John Brennan is just one of them. Others would be certainly Anthony Fauci, but that individual may be facing some international charges. And it's certainly General Miley is another one. So there are a few individuals that have acted very poorly in regards to the best interests of this country. And thank goodness Donald Trump is back in office, because we're not for him. Certainly, I like Ron DeSantis, and I like some of these other people that were considering a run in the presidential race. Ron DeSantis is the first person that's come to my mind, because I like Ron. Had it not been for Donald Trump and his desire to re-enter the race after the election was stolen from him, blatantly stolen from him, and for him to continue to fight and re-enter the race and win it this time, and is it not for him, this country would be dissolving. As it's certainly falling, it was certainly falling flat on its face. So John Brennan is one of those people that America should be seeing, and the mainstream is being seen in the mainstream as a top target to bring down this regime, this deep state regime. Things go much deeper than that, of course, Sandy. And as Roger knows, things go much deeper than that. Auditing Fort Knox is certainly only one of the first steps. My guess is there's no gold in there, and that's based off of the information of former Import-Export Bank president appointed by JFK. He said in 1972, that's BETER, Peter Beater. He said in 1974, that the gold in Fort Knox had been sold by the Rockefellers to the Rothschild at a below market rate. That's not my information. That's the information about Dr. Peter Beater, 1974. That's BETER. He said the gold had been sold from Fort Knox. So upon opening the doors of that fort, I suspect there will be no gold in there. Nixon abolished the gold standard in 1972, and that's because there's no more gold in this country. The Federal Reserve has long said that they don't have any gold. U.S. Treasury has long said that they don't have any gold. We don't have a gold standard. So what is the new standard? Go ahead.
Ian, if there's no gold in there, which is what our economy is based on, what's
currency?
What's
It's off of
that going to do to our economy if there's no gold there?
Well, I guess that's why you have guys like these new currencies, these new cryptocurrencies, and how that's going to shake out. I don't know too much about it, but certainly there's got to be, in my opinion, there's got to be something of intrinsic value, not just computer. I really don't. I just don't know much about cryptocurrencies. But that would be the kind of the notion of the wave of moving the economy to something like that. But again, in my mind, Roger, if I traded this shirt for your shoes, I'm getting something in return. If we don't have anything in our vaults, then there's no equal trade. So that's why I say the term intrinsic value. There's got to be something of intrinsic value that this country possesses, i.e., oil, and you've got the Bretton Woods Agreement and sort of these sorts of things, or the petrodollar and that sort of thing. But intrinsic value is the key thing that I'm looking for in regards to this new structure that's coming forth. And so, is it part of the Great Reset, right? That we were facing a few years ago. I don't know. It's possible, but let's open the doors for Fort Knox. But the other thing, Roger and Sandy, the other thing that I want to see happen is I want the Federal Reserve abolished. Anthony Sabatini is on board with that, and I've got a few other folks that have been on board with me in that desire and that motive. But abolishing the Federal Reserve is one of those things, because it's not audited. We don't know who the shareholders are. It's a banking structure that completely manipulates and pulls the strings of the DC politics, regardless of what side of the aisle you fall upon. We're subservient to that economic structure. So that's what I'd like to see happen, is the abolishment of the Federal Reserve. But let's start with John Brennan. Let's show that he's committed crimes against the American people. He's knowingly allowed terrorists into this country, Roger. And I spoke to Roger Stone about this. He's on board. There's some very prominent names that want to bring John Brennan down. So let's bring down one of the heads of the snakes. There's various snakes, but let's bring one of those heads to the forefront. Let's chop it off. Charge him with treason. According to Article 3, Section 3 in the U.S. Constitution, if you are convicted of treason in the United States, you are to be put to death. So that is. So
how do people follow you? Because you are super passionate.
Well, Ian is Ian and I have been partners for a while. We've been to several different events together. He's very passionate. He's very smart and well versed, and erudite in the ways of the economy and the revenue and fiscal things, like he's talked about. And I asked him, he wasn't going to come because he's up from, Montana.
I mean, I'm a carpenter and painter, so
Yeah.
just an average American guy that,
But tell
speaking out against the.
tell
But how do they follow you on social media?
hold on, come here. Tell us what's happening with Discussions of Truth. Is your podcast?
Yeah, so Discuss Your Truth was started in 2016 in Miami. I was doing a few different things with my life at the time. I was building a nutrition company. I believe in being an entrepreneur. And I was literally driving an Uber when I got a phone call. Well, I was returning back from a bathroom remodel. I got a call from a friend of mine who's no longer with us. Rest in peace. And David said, "Come to this town hall meeting." Long and short of it is in Miami Beach. I was living in Miami Beach, and I was asked to attend a town hall meeting about the Zika virus. I connected the Zika virus to the Rockefeller Foundation gain of function. The Rockefellers on the patent on the Zika virus. I went to the town hall meeting. I basically was considered a conspiracy theory. I proved was not theoretical. This is all based on science. And then then I found a guy named Anthony Sutton. It was a Stanford Hoover fellow. I'm from San Francisco Bay Area originally, so Stanford is a highly accredited institution as far as I'm concerned. This fellow had been hired by the Hoover Institute for his research. Then he was fired. Well, he actually walked away, but he was threatened with being fired because he was revealing that the Federal Reserve is a conspiracy. It in itself, the bank, is a conspiracy. Okay, so the Federal Reserve is a conspiracy. Anthony Sutton, and that's kind of the dots that connected me. This is where the Uber, it was actually a lift. I was giving a lift, and somebody asked me, my passenger asked me to go onto this local radio show in Miami called Windward Radio and talk about the research that I had started. So I started a weekly show on Windward Radio every Wednesday and started talking about the research that I had uncovered. And one of those things that stuck with me was, hey, this Federal Reserve is a corrupt institution. There's a conspiracy behind it to destroy the United States. And if you add up systematically an attack on a country that you don't want to exist, you've got the firepower to fight it for 100 years. Okay, and that'll start to make sense for you. Okay, it's a little far out there if you can't really conceptualize.
He gets very passionate about
this. It makes sense if you look at some of these monarchy lines in Europe and those sorts of those money trails.
Was it Jefferson or Franklin that said the way you take down this country is from the finance inside out?
Probably Jefferson. That sounds like a Jefferson quote, but it may have been Franklin. But anyway, so that's how the podcast started. Discuss the Truth. And so I just stuck with it. And then I was asked to write a book, and I got another book coming out. And that's all of it is, a citizen voice. Really, I didn't ever really expect to start a podcast. It wasn't something I desired to start to do. It was simply, hey, I found corruption. I found something going on with the Zika virus, and I wanted to uncover it, and I wanted other people to listen to it and hear about it. So, that's
the last thing that we always have to talk about. You know what we got to talk about?
the Pope.
No, the pigeons.
Oh, the pigeons. Well, yeah, I mean, the pigeons are, smoke signals and pigeons and that sort of thing. I really don't get into a whole lot of that. Roger knows a little bit more about that. But
we always joke about that,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, the pigeons. Anyway, so robots and drones and so. But yeah, always ask questions. Always ask questions. What I say.
What's next for Discussions of Truth?
Well, what's next is hopefully what's called High Stakes Treason, which is a publication that a few of us are trying to get out there, and that will expose the financial crimes of John Brennan. So look for that hopefully here in the next few weeks, next month, and then with any interest behind that, then it will turn into a mini series viewable on video or YouTube or whatever it may be. So really look for information regarding this expose on John Brennan, I would say. And you can Google it, and you can find me at iantrottier.com, and you can go to highstakestreason.com, and you can find more information on that.
High Stakes yours?
High Stakes Treason. Yeah.
That's yours?
Yeah, it's a domain name that I purchased because that is the title of the forthcoming book. And in talks, if there's a mini series to be made, it will likely be named High Treason. That's what I'm working on. And you can, and I've approached a few different people. Bob Brooks with Newsmax is somebody I spoke with recently about this. So there's a number of people that have interest in it. Look for it. That's what I'm focused on, Roger.
Good job, Ian.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Andy.
It was great seeing you at Cpac
Thank
and
you. Then
safe travels home.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
-40 degrees.
Yeah, -32.